What's going on, Dragon Brawler? Scott Seven, your guild master here for Players Guild, and today I'm joined by Luke Smith. How are you doing?
I'm here again.
You are. That's a good thing. And obviously today we are grading the yellow cards for Cross Spirits, the UW5, the 14th set in the Dragon Ball Super card game. Without further ado, let's get in.
Yeah, so starting with a new leader that everyone is excited for.
Yeah. Son Goku into Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku, introducing a very different style of play, I guess. It's like self mill, but not dredge. But I don't know. How do you describe this?
It's, I still think it's dredge because you set up the top of your deck, then you play up the cards as you mill them, but the cards are not free because I think majority of them at least cost at least one
The
energy.
strong ones,
Yeah,
costing.
so the ones that can actually attack cost energy, and it doesn't proc off your opponent milling you.
Yeah,
Because you need to
you have to do
reveal
it
from your deck and put it in the drop.
exactly.
Which is good because otherwise
Hmm.
Vegex had the problem that, oh, I'm going to mill you. Oh, you're going to activate your skills. Why did I mill you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna get the Supreme Kai of Time power boost. It's
Yeah.
all good. Don't worry about it. So yeah, quite a balanced leader. It has a very interesting ability once it's awakened it to just find the unison, which I think is really cool. Like it's named as well. It's not just find it one specified yellow unison. It's literally just find Android 18, which I think is really handy.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, it's all about stacking a card. It has the interesting choose to draw two, then put one back, which is always helpful.
And
Yeah,
then you
there's
need that
lots of
spirit boost to reveal the top card and mill it, right?
yeah,
So
there's a
you
lot of
need to
cool
be able
stuff.
to find that unison.
Yeah, which is pretty easy to do, to be honest, in the deck.
But I do
Um,
think they missed the mark on the unison, not giving it 5k power, putting it at a 4k power.
yeah, especially with all the one drop 4Ks, she should be 5K.
Yeah,
100% agree with
exactly.
you on that.
Because when we were playing, when I was able to get all the one drops on board, I was just bullying you out of Android 18.
Yeah. So then let's move over to Super 17. Your leader of choice here.
Yeah.
Really interesting leader, to be honest.
So this is one of those leaders that lets you use the cards underneath your cards that Union absorbed or evolved,
Mm.
which is interesting. So once per
Yeah,
turn, you can add a Hellfighter 17 or a Drain 17 from your drop under the Super 17. And it also gets power based on how many cards you have underneath your battle cards.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the more you do, the more rewarding it is. And for so long, like cards underneath cards have just been kind of there.
Yeah, they
Like
couldn't go to the drop in any way. You couldn't do anything with them either. They were just stuck there until they removed your card.
yeah, and then they would just go to the drop anyway or warp. And it's just like, um, yeah, I think it's a great idea to finally start playing with the idea, especially with androids, a deck known for union absorbing and potentially evolving. So I'm excited to see where this goes in the future as well as now because it is such an interesting deck. And I know a lot you and of course Ryan K, friend of the channel, have been able to get quite a lot of cards underneath cards um,
Yes.
in testing, which is
The
scary good.
the fact that it's activate battle on the spirit boost to uh rest battle card and unison card makes your opponent to be really careful about how they're attacking.
Yeah, forces them into sequencing correctly,
Yeah.
which is good. I actually like that. Like it makes your opponent think you can't just go swing, 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 done. It's like okay, now he has all of this stuff, and of course, yellow in general has has the rest capabilities, right? Like a bunch of cards can rest stuff. So I think it's a very extremely interesting deck,
Isn't there
and I
also a
think it's
poutine that plays itself when you rest something?
yes,
Yeah.
and I think it's a great leader for Super 17. So we'll move on to the Unison. We've touched upon it briefly. Apart from the stat, it should have been a 5K, which I actually do agree with. It should have been 5K.
Yeah.
Just because that 4K is too vulnerable to literally everything in the game. Um, But as a unison, the +2 is really fun, and very consistent. The -2 doesn't really need to come into effect, to be honest. But the +2 is 100% great. I just wish there was a way to get her out for free.
So the one thing I'm going to point out is her auto for Spirit Burst can't be procced in SS4 during your opponent's turn, which is a huge shame, because that would be a really good defensive option.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, technically we could use the Spirit Boost 2 cards, but then you're just utilizing
Yeah, I would rather
like
brainstorm at that point.
yeah, exactly right. It's yeah, I can see that.
I would like to see
Offensive
some
wrestling,
cards that when you combo this, you can Spirit Boost to draw a card.
potentially. She's good for the deck.
Oh, she's really
It's
good for
just
the deck. She's
I mean
needed for the
you
deck.
need it for the deck. You need it for
Yeah.
the deck.
As was proven when I killed all four of them, suddenly,
The deck did nothing.
yeah, you
I
couldn't
mean,
do anything.
it's extra consistency. It's extra consistent for the deck. The fact that you get to look at the top three and put them in any order, like it's a tournament of power on legs essentially,
Yeah.
which is probably worse because tournament of power can stick around. This you kind of have to defend. So hopefully we'll get some more defensive options. Like maybe if this specific unison's in board, if you've got a Goku on board, you can't attack it or something. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
But
some
we'll
sort of
see.
deadly defender for this, or
Yeah.
otherwise more blockers.
Or more blockers, yeah. There are quite a few blockers in the deck. It's just maybe I was playing it wrong. So like, there's the potential there. I like her a lot. I like the
There's the
deck a lot.
SPR as well.
The SPR does look phenomenal. Super sassy. I love it. But then let's move on to the Android Unison, which is
I
wow. This card is
love it.
just
The card has so many options.
oh yeah.
So Android 20 and Dr. Mew Hellish Accomplices. It's an amazing card that supports any Evolve or Union decks. They don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be mono yellow.
Nope.
The only thing that's mono yellow is if you -2 to bring a mono yellow battle card with cost 5 or less and evolve skill. Which I rarely did. Because
Yeah.
the best one is +1 and you loot. So draw a card, discard a card.
Yeah. Exactly. Like the. And then the auto is just I think the crowning achievement is this unison is the auto itself.
Yeah.
It's just a very good auto.
When you activate
Um,
evolve or union, just give it a marker.
yeah. And then obviously the spirit boost, choosing something in rest mode and KO in it. Just really strong effect.
The problem with that Spirit Boost auto is it's only during your turn.
Yeah, but that's all right. Like if a yellow can survive a big swing turn, and then so for you to do cleanup on the thing by just spirit boosting, which you'll probably do anyway.
Mm. It is
It's
barrier though, which is nice.
yeah, it goes
It's
through the
it's
barrier.
ignoring barrier.
If it didn't hit through barrier, I'd be like, yeah, it's whatever. But the fact it ignores the barrier and just KOs it, so it ignores the energy requirements, anything like that. So it's just a really strong cleanup.
It's just the deck
it
needs a
helps
bit.
with consistency. It cleans up,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just helps
the
you get
deck
through your
needs a
deck.
bit more Spirit Boost though. That's one thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because at the moment there's only one on the leader.
So then we'll move into Super Saiyan 4, Son Goku, the Brawler, a really good card. Just some KO options. Deflect double strike, so it is going to land. Only one yellow energy for a 20k double strike swing. Pretty good. I actually really like it.
And it can KO anything without barrier that's in rest mode, which is, yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, most things will be in rest mode. Most of the time you're going to be swinging, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
Dragon Ball. And then this one I think is my favorite one of the chain, the self restraint Super Saiyan Goku.
Blocker one.
Pardon?
The blocker one.
Yeah, so it blocks and it draws your card, and then you reset the chain. Essentially, you stack your deck.
I mean, it also rests a battle card your opponent controls.
So it's a really handy card.
Yeah, it is a really strong card.
Then our favorite SR, which you actually played in your deck.
Yes. Because it is
'cause
good in that Super 70. It's good in any deck that has a Unison.
Yeah, it's absolutely a cool and brilliant card. So Like the fact that you bring it out on free energy, right?
You need to have
Um,
4 energy.
yeah, but you bring it out for free energy,
Yeah.
um, which is great. You get to KO stuff when you play it. It has the flex, so it will land, and then it has the super interesting activate main of shutting off super combos
Not only super combos. Uh,
and blockers and
blockers, battle cards, negates.
yeah, true, true. It's a really good effect. Really powerful finish. Deflect double strike and it gains dual attack if you use the activate main spirit boost too. I think it's a very fair card.
Yeah.
Um, and
25,000 power and being the 8 drop is important because charismatic villain doesn't hit it.
yeah. Um, it's a good finisher, rightfully so, and obviously Golden Dragon Fist is always a cool. I think it's called Super Dragon Fist when it's the Gold Shenron, but it doesn't matter. It looks cool, and that's what's important in Dragon Ball is looking cool. Then we'll move on to Gohan. Not much to say. It's just a free blocker, only 4K, one drop,
Yeah.
but same effect if it's revealed and then put in the drop area. You play it. It's fine. It's okay.
I mean,
Um,
it's a blocker that's played for free, right?
Exactly. Free play blockers are never a bad thing, especially in a deck that needs to protect to 4K. This Gurt and the Brawler. So on paper, I actually think it's really strong, but in practicality, I didn't use it.
It's interesting
Like
because that activate main is what lets you uh, go for that turn 2 awaken.
it is, but as soon as you do that, it's irrelevant.
Mm.
Like because then you play to try and
Unison,
find the
right?
unison, but your leader just gets you that anyway. So I
But
on
leader only
paper
gets
it's
you that
good.
after it's awakened, so this is technically to help you.
Yeah, but I awoke anyway, and then this card's redundant after you've awakened. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, because you can't use the activate main once you're awakened.
And then you just search for Saiyans so you can put them on top of your deck so you
I
can
guess,
stack your
but
deck.
yeah, but your deck does that anyway.
It's
Like,
it's a
there's a,
it's a yellow Goten GT, and we have also do we have a
a Trunks
Trunks?
GT. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can
It
go. It can go into Gotenks technically.
it could. Um, I'm just kind of whelmed by it. Like, it seems really good, but the deck just kind of outpaces it already, so you don't need it.
Now,
But I
Panda
mean, it's there
Brawler
for
was a
consistency.
card that I underestimate severely.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah.
This pan's great. This is what you want as an offensive, and I hope we'll see more of this kind of card for the deck. So maybe a double strike one as well. Um,
I think critical is as far as it goes because it's 20k critical either way. And there
yeah,
are ways to proc her also during your opponent's turn for some reason. But she's a blocker. I like the fact that it only works once when you do that to her per turn.
yeah, like the limit is a really solid
Yeah.
effect to put on the card. Limit is just like one of the best keywords they could have introduced. So happy they did.
Beside energy
Um,
exhaust.
and unique because that just cleared up a lot of problems. Um, yeah, like Pan's just really good. A powerful offensive tool, but has the defensive capability of blocker. Stat wise, it doesn't matter because you're never going to be playing it for 2 energy. And the 5K, it's irrelevant. You're going to just block with her because you'll already have procs at that point.
Yeah, she's a bit
Um,
like the old free blockers, right? That also gives your leader critical.
yeah, yeah, very reminiscent, but an on-theme one. Yeah, I can get behind that. We have the Vegeta Brawler, which is a counter attack, which you play it, and then you do the leader effect. Well, you do the effect that will proc stuff,
Yeah,
which I
it's
think is
one of the
super good.
actually strongest card in the deck. Because it
Yeah, I
always
think it's super
catches
good.
you by surprise.
Yeah, so this one essentially allows you to play into your opponent, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you can set up a blocker, um, and then pass turn, knowing that you're going to negate, and then play a blocker on top of that. That's really powerful. That is a really powerful play that shouldn't be underestimated.
And there's a Vegeta Gt Skillers.
Looks pretty cool.
Trunks the
And then we
Brawler,
get
another 4k. So This and Goten technically go into Gotenks, the yellow one from set 10.
Yeah, yeah. This one's an interesting one. I think it's a lot better than I first thought. Um, that being said, it relies on the Unison.
Yeah.
Um,
It
so
essentially doubles up your leader skill, right?
yeah, which is always good. Which is always good. Like the deck is super consistent at what it does. I think it just needs a few more pieces here and there to interchange with it, but that's something that can get fixed in time. It's not the end of the world. The deck's still quite good on its own right now. Piccolo the Gate Opener is our damage. You play
Yeah,
it and you
it's
regain a life.
anti-burn for yellow. Namekian support.
Yay! Namekian support. There you go, guys. There it is. Krillin the Brawler is our Spirit Boost super combo. Just really good super combos. I really like them.
Then we have
Great
Great Saiyan
2.
2.
Skillless, very nice. Then we'll get into the Android 17 stuff, which is your domain, so you can take the charge on these.
We have 2 conceding to Union cards. This is Android 17. We're going to see Hellfighter 17 as well. Android 17 is by far the better one because it has barrier. Hellfighter has blocker, which is also interesting and I kept on forgetting about. And it has Union Absorb, both of them do. You can only do it once per turn, which is amazing because that's a restriction you need to have on a card that have free Union Absorb, right? And
yeah,
they
because
also are not.
Like...
Yeah, they're not playing out a 20k double striker that draws you a card. They play a 9k card that draws you a card.
Yeah.
So yeah, you absorb. Only if your leader is Super 17, you absorb Hellfighter and play up to 1 mono yellow Super 17, which is really important with that yellow-green card we have seen.
Yeah,
So it needs to be mono yellow with cost of 3 from your deck or drop area on top. It's amazing because you can deck fin and you can also keep on bringing them back from the drop. So it's not that you're running out of the targets.
No, like it's not. Oh, it does 4 and drop it over. It's like, oh no, I'll keep bringing it back. Yeah. Then you got your super combo, your standard.
Which is just a 4 life or less super combo.
Yeah. Then you have this one, which I found super interesting when you played it. The counter attack one.
I mean, I played it because it's Android 17.
Yeah, I like it a lot though.
So this is the thwarting the enemy. It's the Spirit Boost counter attack. And
yeah,
it's alright. It was an on-theme negate that I could absorb into because I was not running the Super 17 super combo. So Android 17 super combo.
That's what I mean though. Like so you can get a counter out of it. You can potentially do it for free if need be, which you can do with that Unison because it can get so many markers so quickly. If your opponent doesn't
I'm not using those markers either, right?
Exactly. So it's like I think this is actually a really good inclusion in the deck.
I think this is by far the best of the Spirit Boost negates because it actually has a use in one of the decks.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we go into Hellfighter 17, conceding to Union, which is the blocker one that does exactly the same absorption, but absorbs Android 17, not Hellfighter 17, which is interesting because in the past we had that was Hellfighter absorbing Android to get into Super 17, but here it goes both ways.
Yeah, which is really handy. And I actually really like that. And then Hellfighter 17, the Mechanical Calamity.
Charity.
Clarity?
Charity.
I can word. It's just your searcher. It's your consistent searcher. We see this in like every archetype now, which is good. Don't get me wrong. Then we have Powers Combined, which is the big boy.
The boss monster. This is the only one you can't recur in any way.
Which is good because it's absolutely horrifying, especially when you pair it with the being able to restand it.
So yeah, it's a triple striker that you can drop on turn 4 very easily. And you can do it so you pay 1 to bring the 1 drop absorb into Super 17, pay 1 into 5 drop, and then 2 into 8 drop. It's what we were talking about with the Goku, which you can bring out on turn 4 easily, play 1 drop Unison and 3 for the Goku.
Yeah, super scary.
And then with Activate Main, it switches itself and the leader to active mode.
Yeah.
And then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and absorb it, and it gets plus 1000 power for each energy cost in the battle cards placed under it.
It's a scary card, and you definitely don't
Sorry,
want
as
to
far as
be.
I understand this, if I absorb a 4-drop, I am getting 4000 power. But now that I'm reading this, it is getting 1000 power for each different cost between energy costs and what? I don't know. I might be reading too much into this.
Okay. But still a really cool, powerful boss monster.
The fact that it's a
Um,
triple striker and you do have that option to absorb into the multicolor Super
yeah,
17 that just crits your opponent's life.
yeah. It's there's some nasty stuff with this deck. There's some nasty stuff with this deck. Then we got Hellish Amalgamation.
Which is the 5-drop you evolve on top of. This one is dual attack, 19,000, and evolves on top of the mono yellow Super 17 for 1 energy. But
You
only
don't
if your
really want
leader
to
is
stick
Super
on this
17.
guy. Yeah, you don't really want to stick on this guy. It's not terrible, but out of the three Super 17s we get, I think he's the one you want to get off the most. Right? Like you don't want to be stuck on this guy.
He's not too bad because when you play him, he's essentially a removal because he absorbs 4-drop or less and draws you a card.
True. Like I'm not saying it's bad, but like you don't want to pass your turn and be left on there.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
problem is that you
right.
draw too many cards. And you
Yeah.
don't have access to that Android 13 that can recycle your androids.
And then we have the engine maker himself, the 9K,
The
the
card
free
that
drop.
should not be locked to Super 17.
Why do you not want it locked to Super 17?
Because it has Activate Main, Limit 1, you discard this and an Android card from your hand to look at the top 7 to add up to 2 yellow Android cards with cost 5 or less. I want this for Android 13.
So it's a personal thing.
Yes.
Because you know how busted it would be if it wasn't.
Yes, it would make Android 13 actually playable.
Ooh, shots fired. I still think Android 13 is probably in a playable place, especially with the new multicolor cards. I think there's something there with it.
Yeah, with the new with the Super 17 mostly.
Yeah,
There are
it's
options
really
there, I
cool.
agree, but doesn't change the fact that this would make the deck actually consistent.
Yeah, well, this is a Super 17 card for Super 17. You've just got to accept it and move on. But yeah, overall, it's a very cool card. Like I like how you get to draw a card off being like it being played by Union, like you'd be playing free for it. Like I mean, you might
The
want to
5-drop
pay
when it's
free.
removed plays it as well.
Exactly. There's so much good stuff to it.
The fact that this card has barrier as well, so you can it can just stay there and you can carefully choose when you want to go into your 5-drop.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I'd much rather end 10 on this
Yeah.
than end up on the 5-drop. Like I love this. I love this card. I think it's great. I just its stat line is fine. Like the fact that it's 9K, it doesn't have to be a beat stick. It's like it's whatever. Like it can deal with unisons, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the barrier, the being able to just bide your time. I love it. I genuinely do love this card.
And then we go to one of my favorite cards in the deck.
The return from beyond, Dr. Mew.
So this one lets you reuse Hellfighter 17 from your drop to keep on going into that free drop.
Yeah.
Into
And
Union
as we know,
Absorb.
we can play the free drop from the drop, so it literally cycle.
You can cycle, and then the Unison lets you bring out the 5-drop back to your hand. The only thing
Yeah.
you cannot cycle is the 8-drop.
Which is good. I think you shouldn't be able to cycle.
Oh yeah,
That
you
is a
shouldn't
bit...
be able to cycle that boss monster.
Yeah.
At the same
In fact,
time, every time you absorb into 3-drop, you draw a card. Every time you evolve into 5-drop, you draw a card.
yeah,
You will mill yourself eventually.
lots of draw potential, especially if you want to throw insane instincts or something into the deck. There's so much draw potential in this deck, which is great. Like your hand size was huge when we played.
Yeah.
Then we have Opening the Gates of Hell, which has like just a fantastic SPR.
Yeah, let's go to
This
SPR.
is a counterplay Spirit Boost 1. Choose all battle cards and Unison cards being played with 3 or fewer markers on them. and switch them to rest mode, then draw a card. So this is good, right? I think it's good.
I think it's good. The problem is that it is stopped by two different keywords:
Okay.
barrier and deflect.
Okay.
Because you need to choose the cards.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And in the rulebook, it is that barrier works from the moment you declare to play a card.
Okay. Um
Don't get me wrong, I
I
still like the card. I think the card is really scary against Sin, for example.
Yeah, like basically if you know your opponent's going to be like mass playing stuff with effects,
Yeah.
which there are some decks that do that. Um and the ability to shut that down for one. I mean, essentially it's Crusher Ball light, but you get a draw off of it. And the fact it's a counterplay for Unisons as well is probably going to be very useful.
The fact that this doesn't work, this doesn't check for any cost on the battle cards being played. But yeah, I think the biggest problem with the card is going to be Spirit Boost 1.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully it finds a place. If not, it just means cheap SPRs that Scott can pick up and display them because it looks beautiful. It's very rare you see King Cold and Cooler together on an artwork anyway.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that they look that good, it's.
You can tell who was the favorite kid.
Yep, definitely. Then Watchman Strike, which is a beautiful card in itself, but it is a similar one we've seen. This is the negate the attack, choose up to 2 of your opponent's tokens, and switch them to rest mode. This is Yellow's version of a token. I guess we're calling them token negates. They're the ones that interact with tokens.
Yeah, the anti-tokens, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't understand why they brought that out. Because the tokens are not that big part of a strategy for Boo.
I guess it's just there for future, maybe, or just because a lot of people play the Battle Evolution negates. So, I don't know, maybe something there.
But the point with Battle Evolution negates is I negate your attack and I get a block,
and I get a block,
and then I block.
Yeah, it'd be surprised how many times that's things that actually stick on board. It's kind of weird.
And then we have a card that makes Goku GT.
Yeah, like this 100% makes the deck. It's absolutely brilliant. There's no way around it. I think it's pretty fair with the fact that you do have to pay an energy for it. Even on the activate main, when it's free, you have to limit, like it's limited, so you can't just spam it.
Yeah.
And you also have to beat free energy for that. So it's like, yeah, I think it's a fair card, but it's essentially a necessary card for the deck. You're going to be running 4 of it. Just really good, really good.
Like, I don't think I would ever want to activate it for free just to mill a card. I would rather pay 1, draw 2, put 1 at the back, and then mill.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Yeah, the activate main pay 1 is just great. But I love the idea of this 0 cost Unison that actually does have a cost if you want to do one thing, but is free if you do another. I like that. I like that from a design aspect.
Scott?
Yeah?
Extra card.
What did I say?
Unison.
Same thing. Same thing. Then we get to, I think, probably one of the best cards introduced in this set. It's so good. It's so good.
This card brings out using the materials in a way different way. You can use the materials to pay for the cost of this card.
It's so. Not only that, like the applications of it are huge. You can give it to your leader. You can give it to the secret rare. Ugh.
You can give it to a dual attacker.
Yeah, like it's just so good. It's just a really good card.
This is essentially a new version of Champa for Super 17, right?
Yeah, with the potential to go past Champa.
Yeah, well, if we sit long enough and I have 4 free drops and then I evolve them and then I attack you, then you're not happy, Bunny.
No, but it's a really cool card. I think people are really underestimating it, especially in regards to the secret rare. I don't know what else to say other than it's great, and you need to be like, if you're playing against Super 17, you need to know this could happen.
Oh god,
Like,
yes. It's a good
yeah.
thing that this is limit 1.
Oh God, yes. If this wasn't, it would be in
And the last card for today, a fated meeting.
another card that looks like a super rare, but is a common.
So this one is just, what was it? Draw one card, choose one of your opponent's units in a battle with 4 or less, switch it to rest,
Yeah.
and can be switched to active.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, it's a Mecha Freezer card, but I don't think Mecha Freezer's gonna run it. Um,
I mean, it's very
actually, I could,
defensive if you think about this.
yeah,
Because you can turn off the Unison for 2 turns, essentially. Or you can turn off a battle card for 2 turns if they're not smart with attacking.
true. I guess if someone's running a Gohanks as their Unison, this might actually be a nice side choice for it.
Hmm.
Um, it's an interesting card. Like I say, I think if anything, it's a Mecha Freezer card. Because I can't ever see a situation where you'd want to pay 2 for this.
No, definitely you don't want to pay 2 for that. That's way too expensive for this type of a skill.
Exactly. So that's why it leads me to Mecha Freezer.
Yeah, I can
But
see that.
otherwise, really cool artwork. Um, yeah, just it's a nice card to have. And as we said, that is all for today. So I have to go with an A plus for this. I think Super 17 comes back in such a unique way, but an old way.
Yeah, that's.
Um,
I like the fact that they're going back to those old Android things.
yeah.
I'm kinda unhappy that they swapped Androids from green to yellow now.
It doesn't bother me too much. And I also love the Goku strategy. I think there's a lot there. I hope we see more of it in future. So yeah, A plus from me. So where do you land on it, Loki?
I think both archetypes are really well defined and really interesting. One thing I'm worried about is that the boss for Goku GT is just way too good in other decks.
Yeah, I can see that. I 100% can see that. Like you want to get 4 of them just because you can fit it in pretty much any yellow deck. Like
Yeah, any yellow deck that runs a Unison and is somehow defensive, like I can see Mecha Freezer abusing that.
yeah, quite possibly if they want to run the Meta Cooler route, it's definitely a thing that could happen. Um, Potentially, just gotta read the effect again. Um, you know what would be interesting
Hmm.
is in a Bagama Universe 9 deck
Yeah,
with the yellow unison.
yeah, because they have the Giant Force, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't get the activate main off the leader, but a deflect double strike for free energy that KOs 2 cards in rest mode.
And then
I
turns off the skills.
No, you need the yellow leader for that.
Oh,
Um,
ooh.
I
Then
don't
I
know.
don't know if it's that worth it at that point because you don't have the dual attack.
No, true.
Like the biggest point of that is going. I think Mecha Frieza is going to be using that. I think that's like the main villain I can see using that.
Yeah, I agree. Like Mecha Freezer just gets a field day from this card if they go the Meta Cooler route or if they go a different unison, I guess. But yeah, 100%. Like this card is one to watch. Goku Return of the Dragon Fist, one to watch, folks. Didn't get an SPR, did it? No.
No, it didn't, which is surprising enough.
Yeah, really shocked it didn't get an SPR.
But yeah, summarizing, I think I'm with you here. I think it's an A grade. It is solid. It looks fun. We had some fun playing it, although we did only play 2 games.
True. That.
We do need to get that 3rd game in at some point.
We do indeed. We've got to decide who wins and who loses. So yeah, overall, guys, we're very happy with Yellow from Cross Spirits. If you've got your opinions, let us know in the comments below. Hit that like button. hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Graded.